Hello, Tenno, this is Mako, and we're doing some Captura adventures, I guess you should call it. Right now I'm working on one to throw at Hydroxate for his current submissions on Volt. So here's my Volt. I've always called this guy Raijin, and my Zephyr equally is Fujin, so if you don't know what that is, they're Shinto gods. Raijin is god of storms and lightning, where Fujin is gods of wind and I believe thunder. Just on basic lore. Now this is a pre-set up scene. I've constantly been getting some requests on how in the heck I'm doing this. It's not really that hard, Tenno. So, as you can see, you just stage the area and get really close. Now you can do cutoffs, that won't hurt it. If you do like a blur effect with some fog or some powers, you can get some good effects going like this. You got kind of like a ring of light behind them, but you can even blur that out by adjusting the angle. The only problem is certain sigils and glyphs may alter it. Now some people are wondering how I'm getting this kind of HD effect. Well, this is, to my knowledge, a technique called hard light. I was trying to figure out a name for it. That's what people told me it's called. So I'm not really a photography person. I just like making cool wallpapers for myself, and apparently, some people are liking it and wanted to try it themselves. So I feel free to share how I'm doing it. Now, this is a solo Captura. Let me pop him out. So one of the things I found if you're doing solo Captura, you need to have some stage props on hand. One of the easiest to get your hands on are the pox. The pox can create this cool fog effect. You can go in it and get some really kind of choice shots really easy. I mean, look, that took 2 seconds. You can get some cool little fog effect. Kind of looks like you're popping out. This is how I did my Sarin one. So, it's pretty nice. You could get something like the Tord or the Meat of the Senros. I was actually in here experimenting with the Quanta. One thing with the Quanta is you can actually get this as a timed effect. Say you throw some Pox down, throw some Quanta there, and you can get some kind of smoke effect going off here. And then once it hits, it detonates, creating this kind of blast effect. Now with that, you can get in here and use this as a filter. So I'm not just using the in-game filters, I'm creating my own in-game filters. So take that as you will. Just trying to figure out how to best explain this. Also, your choice of weapons, such as with the Ohm. The Ohm has a cool static electricity effect. And I can actually spiral up here. So, as I said, just bring some props in to make your life easier. Now, if you are not a solo Captura and you've got some friends that can help you, one of the easiest ones right off the bat I can think of are Nezha and Wukong. Wukong has a fog effect when you do this Cloud Walker. So when you do his Cloud Walker, if, say, you, the individual, stands in the middle like this, you have the Wukong overlay in the middle on top of you with Cloud Walker, and you get kind of the same effect as Pox. Even a little better because it's dependent on his color scheme and whatnot, but it's better if you're like doing a Grineer ship. Now the current scene I'm in is Samaris's, but you don't have to have Samaris to get black. I like Samaris's because, again, I like making my warframes into wallpapers, so take that as you will. So let's talk about settings. Usually for slow I always keep it about here. You can do friendly fire with teammates to get some cool gore effect, but the blood and Warframe gore effect is not that great. So first up, always set your distance DOF down here if you want a very detailed thing, so you can see like all of the detail on the Warframe, the helmets, you know, kind of that weathered look they've got. You want to capture that in your thing, you want to put the depth down, because otherwise you get this kind of slight blur to it. So keep that as you will. But that's just my suggestion. Usually I max the depth out also. It doesn't seem to really affect it, it's just a habit. So if I do want to start blurring, it doesn't hurt too hard if I start adjusting distance. Also your field of view. Normally, your field of view is here and it doesn't look that detailed even if you're that far away. So if you adjust your field of view a little closer, it just seems to highlight the depth a little more. So, hopefully that helps you on that end. Now, a lot of the details I get picked up are due to the 3-light system. You don't really need scene light all the time. As you can see, it really didn't hurt. But in Samaris' place, if you start adjusting scene light, it actually affects rotation of the light. Now, to create the hard light look, usually I will start with a main light that's like a dark gray, just to kind of give that foggy look. Get a little white light or a little brighter gray to get that highlight effect there. And as you rotate, and then I try to match the energy color of the scene. So, with that you combine with Pox can give this kind of glow effect. And there, look, a nice pretty Captura scene. Doesn't take very much, and you can overlay it because the feet slightly blurred out, render it. So even an Xbox console can create some very nice, you know, scene effects. The lightning effect on this is actually pretty good. If I could actually get under it, that'd be nice. Critical. Well, that was short-lived. Okay. So, you've got the facet of using some stagehands, such as the Pox, or whatever weapon, Torrid, Mutilus Senros, things like that to create fog effects, or even kind of static-like effects. You can actually get multiple Mutilus Senros behind somebody, such as a Mirage, to create an even better effect on their glow orb, I found. So, you want like a black area here. One of the better spots. Right there. Now what do I mean? Let's see. I just seen light to 0. See? Nice black effect right here. And you can even choice shot it so nothing else is in the way. So this spot right here is probably your go-to if you do not have the Samaricine. Also, you can use these lights right here as a quick kind of backdrop, so you can, like a hallway of light. I don't know, I've seen them on some phone wallpapers, so I thought they were cool. Now, unlike in Samaris' area, you can adjust exposure. Exposure can be kind of a double-edged sword. You can either max it out or adjust it to get some brighter effects. But there's a more fun approach where you throw it down and adjust scene lighting up and get some nice depth going in the background near you as well as on your warframe. This is how you create kind of like a cinematic style scene. Let's see if I can pull one off on this. Generate some enemies. Normally I would suggest always to generate an enemy that's part of that Captura zone. So we'll just grab some heavy gun. Yeah. So I don't kill them right off the bat. This is how you create kind of a firefight effect. Well, that's not what I expected. Get back here. Come on, shoot me. Okay, this is how you can get kind of a cool firefight effect. Go up here and adjust depth. This is how you get some of the scenes like in Warframe, where the enemy shooting at you. Now if you're in a place where your Warframe's too dark, just simply go to rotation down here if you've got your 3 lights set up here, right? So just as a rule of thumb, like I said, I always go down here, just the middle to be kind of the bright light, main light to be a little gray, or in this case, to kind of match the ambience color. And then I can even make this another brighter version of that light, or just a softer white or gray. This is called the hard light approach, I believe. Don't quote me on that. It's just what I do. And see, now it looks a little more natural. As I said, the pockets can be really handy if you don't have a Warframe that can do some cool effects. So, now that we've just kind of done a few Volt ones, let's grab a basic one. Does anybody have any suggestions?
This is irregular. Orders? From who? Let me see your authorization.
Getting lost on my own ship, it's not a fun thing. I know, it's such a small place, but it just happens. An example of one that also has a good fog effect that you wouldn't really expect is Banshee. So you wanted the color palette, that's how I do it. Okay, so we're in Captura. Now one of the things, like I said, always start off with adjusting your settings. Now, one of the annoying things you should always remove is your sentinel, or you get photobombed. So I'm going to now have to leave. This is something you will probably have if you don't remember to remove your sentinel before you do these.
This is a regular.
Back down to the ship basement. Now, let's try that again, shall we? Okay, in a capture area, like I said before, remove grain, adjust depth down to 0, put depth itself up. Normally I try for a black, but thankfully due to the Jade palette here on Xbox, we've got this kind of cool varying to grays, of different type of blacks all in one. I don't know how PC Tenno or even Sony types have it, but it's an interesting effect. Now, as I said, and she has her own kind of cool fog effect. This is how I created her original one, is I just use this and let the fog dissipate. Pretty simple actually. You wouldn't believe how that works. As I said, all Warframes seem to have their own kind of cool little fun effect built into them, so I was trying to experiment. Usually her one is actually what I use to create these cool fog effects around her. Now, of the filters, the three I like are contrast, bleach, and cross process. Cross process is probably the one I use normally in any other Captura except for Samaris, because it kind of does this weird bluing on black here. I don't understand it. Contrast can give you some very intensive effects, but it also, as you see, can do that bluing. So normally you can just get something like bleach. And bleach creates kind of a hard light effect all by itself. Gives you kind of more HD look. And there we are, pretty much replicating how I did my last one. Not even using any lights. So simple. The black, the gold, when you throw it up here, it gives it its own little lighting effect. It's kind of cool. As you can see, it pops out the details even easier through the, her fog effect. Fog effects are really interesting to play with here on Warframe Captura. Now, if you're trying to create a wallpaper effect like I usually do, you're going to try to do two things. One, you're going to put the Warframe on one type of side and have some sort of power, energy, or glow effect, or you're going to put the Warframe in the middle. Now, I say the side like this because it just gives you a place to, you can put all your icons on the right side of the desktop, But if you're doing a phone, you want it in the middle, because then you can get kind of a gradient effect going left or right, and then your main image is the warframe itself. So, that'll be this episode of How to Captura. I hope you enjoyed this and found this useful. Thanks for watching. Bye.